Good morning to all. Hope you all are doing very well. Today we are going to begin with the next chapter, that is India, Location, Geological Structure and Physiography Part 2. In this chapter we are going to talk about various physiography. In previous chapter, just to revise, we have seen about the location with the help of longitude and latitudes. Then we have seen what are the different structures, like what are different things available to us on our earth, like mountain, river, desert areas. So such kind of thing already we have seen. Then we have discussed about the neighboring country with the help of map, and then we have talked about the geological structure, right? So how do we have this mountains, plateaus, all that we have discussed with the help of plates, diagram of the plates, that because of the movement of these plates we are getting all such kind of things on our earth. Now as we have seen that what is the reason why the earth is not even land, now we are going to see that this land has been divided into 5 different types of a physiography. To understand this particular chapter, let us understand the meaning of word physiography. What is the meaning of physiography? जब हम physiography के बारे में बात करते हैं, so it is the natural available thing on the earth, like a mountain, river, desert area, plain areas, plateaus. So according to the direction, as we have seen in the live session, we have discussed about the direction. So according to that, we are having number of physiography which has been divided. So as for that, northern mountainous regions, then we are having great northern plains, peninsula plateau, the coastal areas, and the last one is the archaeology. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss about each of physiography. So let us begin ourselves with a discussion of northern mountainous region with the help of map. Okay, so to begin with the northern mountainous region, this is an important natural region of India. It is known as the Himalaya mountain system, and already we have seen in the previous video that how the Himalaya has came into existence. It has spread over 2,400 kilometers in the west-east direction in the north. I hope you remember that how to identify the direction. So according to that, Himalaya is spread in the west-east direction. I hope you are able to understand what I mean to say by west-east. If you have forgotten, just recall the direction, that arrow one. Okay, that diagram if you will bring in front of your eyes, you will be able to realize that which one is west-east direction. It has an arc shape. What is the meaning of arc shape? Arc means it is a type of a curve. Okay, its width range between 240 kilometers to 320 kilometers. I repeat, its width ranges between 240 kilometers to 320 kilometers. The Himalaya is not a single mountain, and because of that only we call it as a northern Himalaya range. Range means a group of mountains. Number of mountains are coming together, that we call it as a mountainous range. But is a complex of many mountainous range. So this is the explanation of word range. Going towards east from Afghanistan, for this particular purpose, for understanding this particular thing, we are going to see the map which is there on your screen. Okay. Going towards east from Afghanistan, it extends up to Myanmar via India, Nepal and Bhutan. It has more span in Tibet in north. It is a part of mountainous system as Pamir Node. I am repeating, it is a part of mountain system which is known as a Pamir Node. Himalaya on the whole can be divided into 2 divisions. One is a northern Himalaya region and the other one is a eastern Himalaya region. That means we have already seen in the map, the upper portion of our country is totally covered with land. Okay, on that particular land, covered land, we call it as the Himalaya. But this particular portion has been divided into 2 parts. First one, northern Himalaya region, and second one is the eastern Himalaya region. Till here, I hope it is clear. Next, when we are going to talk about the northern Himalaya region, it is consisting of very high mountainous areas. there are three mountain ranges parallel to each other. Parallel to each other means तीनों एक दूसरे के आजू बाजू में है, which is equivalent, साथ साथ में चल रहे हैं. Okay, the northern range is known as the Greater Himalaya. This is loftiest range among the Himalayas, wherein there are more than 40 peaks. What do you mean by peaks? It is a pointed mountainous area. The topmost portion of the mountain, we call it as the peak, which exceeds height of 7,000 meters. Most famous among them is Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters high. This particular points you are supposed to keep it in your mind. Okay, I am repeating for that purpose. Most famous among them is Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters high. It is on the Nepal-China border. It is known as Sagarmatha in Tibet. That means this particular mountain is having the other name, and the other name for Mount Everest is known as the Sagarmatha. But where do we call this particular name? In Tibet area. Other famous peak is Godwin Austen, or the other name for Godwin Austen is K2. The height is 8,611 meter, which is the highest peak of India. There are three distinct ranges in Himalaya which are almost parallel to each other. Already we have discussed previously. In the Greater Himalayas, there are some high mountain passes such as Jalipla, Nathula, Shikila, etc. Now when we are talking about La or pass, what is the meaning of that? When already we have seen that here we are talking about the mountainous areas where we are having number of rocks which is arranged naturally. So this has created a type of a gate. यानी कि ये जो rocks है, बड़े बड़े rocks है, ये इस तरह से arrange हुए हैं naturally कि वो किसी gate का look देते हैं. And because of that only we call it as a La. La means pass. For example, हमारे यहाँ पे देहरादून, हरिद्वार. Okay, so these are all the things through which we can say that these are the gates. Okay, now Mansarovar, China, which is considered to be the sacred holy place. Sacred का मतलब होता है पवित्र. Sacred holy place which is located in this region. Okay. Second range, the other part of the Himalaya region is in the south of Greater Himalaya, which is also spread in wider area, which is also known as the Central Himalaya or Lesser Himalaya. With a width ranging from 80 to 100 km, this range includes mountain ranges like Pir Panjal, Mahabharat, Nagtiba, etc. Many hill stations are developed in this moderately high range. Some of the hill stations are Dalhousie, Dharamshala, Shimla. These are all the parts of India. Okay, Mussoorie, Ranikhet, Almora, Nainital, Darjeeling, etc. And these are the places where the people are traveling more during the summer season. Gangotri, Yamunotri, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Hemkund Sahib, etc. are famous holy places. Kullu, Kanda and Kashmir are extremely beautiful natural valleys in this region. Third range. So here we have completed the discussion of the second range of Himalaya. Now we are going to talk about the third range, and that is situated in further south. It is known as the Shivalik, outer part of the Himalaya. So in short we can say that here in our country India, Himalaya has been divided into three parts. One, which we call it as the Himalaya region, that is northern Himalaya region. Second part is the Greater Himalaya, that is in the central portion of the Himalaya. And now we are talking about the last portion of the Himalaya, that is outer Himalayas. Okay, and most of it falls within India. It is about 10 to 15 kilometers wide and has an average height of 1,000 meters. Peculiar, that means typically, valley formation has taken place in this range, which is covered by gravel, stones and thick sediments. Locally, these areas are considered as a dune, Dehradun, partly dune, Kothari dune. Let us continue with the description of Eastern Himalayas. When we are talking about the Eastern Himalayas, it is covered with the hills. So before we will continue with the discussion of hills, let us see what is the meaning of peak. Peak means This is the mountain area. So this particular portion we are calling it as a peak. This particular portion which I have marked, that is peak. Okay. Now when I am talking about the ranges, mountainous ranges, that means we are supposed to have mountain areas like this. Okay. So that we call it, this particular portion we call it as the ranges of the mountain. That means we don't have any single mountain, but we are having a number of mountainous areas like this. Okay, these are some of the words which are quite difficult to understand. And when we are talking about the hills, the mountainous area is going to be separated, individual. Okay, but the height as compared to this is going to be quite lesser. That we call it as the hills. So when we are talking about the eastern Himalayas, we are having such kind of hills mostly in this particular portion. Okay, so ranges situated in the eastern part of Himalaya ranges have lesser height. As I told you, the highest mountainous areas are quite higher as compared to the hills. Okay, so following this, we are having number of hills. This hill is in the eastern Himalayas are spread as smaller ranges. So even when we are talking about the hills, it is again in the ranges like this only. Okay, I hope it is clear. These hills in the eastern Himalayas are spread as smaller ranges. Among them, Patki Hill are situated in Arunachal Pradesh. So here we are going to talk about the various hills which is located in different areas of our country. Naga Hills in Nagaland and Lusai, that is Mizo Hills in Mizoram. These hills are located near the eastern border and have their continuation in Arankana Yoma range. I am repeating, Arankana Yoma range of Myanmar. Garo, Khasi and Jaintia, these are all the names of the hills which is located in Meghalaya. Mountainous regions have more rainfall, so dense forests have developed here. As this, the forested area, roads and railways have not developed much. Now let me ask you one question. What is the meaning of dense forest? Have you ever heard this word? When we are talking about the dense forest, that means very thick, बहुत ही heavy forest area यहाँ पे cover होता है. And what the reason is behind that? This area is having a large amount of rainfall. This particular question can be asked to you as a give reason. I hope it is clear to you. Now, so far in this particular clipping, we have discussed about the northern mountainous region. In short, we have discussed about the Himalaya regions in the three parts. So that is, to revise that, we have discussed about the mountainous regions of the Himalaya, then we have seen about the greater Himalaya and then outer portion of Himalaya, okay, which is known as the Shivalik. And second portion of the Himalaya we call it as the eastern Himalaya. So I hope it is quite clear to you in this particular. Now we are going to begin ourselves in this particular video about the Great Northern Plains. Before we will continue with the explanation of this word, I would like to ask you, what is the meaning of plains? Have you ever heard this word? When we are talking about the plains, suppose if this is a globe, okay, and we are having a very even piece of land on the earth, that we call it as the plains. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, so we are going to talk about the plains which is located towards the northern direction. Okay, so let's understand with the help of the textbook. This northern plain is located in the northern mountainous region and southern peninsula. Again, the question is that, what is the meaning of peninsula? Have you ever heard this word? Peninsula, in the previous video I have spoken this word. When we are having a piece of land which is covered from three sides, water, and one side it is a piece of land. We call such type of a land is known as a peninsula. Okay, so this plain is formed due to the alluvial sediment brought by the Himalaya rivers such as Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra. I repeat, what is the meaning of alluvial sediments? Have you ever heard this particular word, alluvial sediments? You might have seen that during the monsoon season, along with the water, number of particles are moving from one place to another. Okay, So in this particular process, when the lighter object, जो वेट में लाइट होता है, दैट ऑब्जेक्ट इज मूविंग फ्रॉम द टॉप, आई मीन फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग पॉइंट टिल द एंड पॉइंट. सो व्हेन वी आर ऑब्जर्विंग एट द लास्ट में जब हम ऑब्जर्व करते हैं तो उसमें सेडिमेंट्स यानी कि जो सॉइल होती है वो वहाँ पर हमको रिवर बैंक पे नजर आती है. ओके, सो दिस सॉइल इज गोइंग टू हैव अ वेरी alluvial portion. What is the reason behind that? Because it is remaining in the water for a longer period of time. So it is containing a power. I mean, number of fertility is there. I mean, fertility power is more in this particular soil, and because of that only we call it as the alluvial soil. Now, when we are talking about the alluvial soil or alluvial sediment, so it is moving from the Himalaya. That means from the topmost portion. I mean, this, suppose imagine that this is the portion of India which is the beginning of this rivers. From there, if it is coming down, then this particular area they are traveling, so obviously they are remaining for a longer period of time in the water, so obviously it is going to be alluvial. Okay, so I hope this particular word is quite clear to you. The rivers which are coming from the top, that is from the northern, that is Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra. At some places the layers of sediment are about 50 meters thick. As this plain occupy a very large area in North India, these are known as the Great Plains of India. So this particular question can be asked to you, or this particular sentence can be asked to you as a explain the following statement. So you are supposed to give the reason. I hope it is understood clear. Now the plain is about 2,400 kilometers long. It is considered as one of the largest river plains of the world. Its western part is narrower than the eastern part. The plain is almost level land. As I have shown you, it is even land or a level land. And as we have discussed, it is having like this particular sediments they are going to have, or they are going to place here. Okay, so it is going to have a very good fertility power, and because of that only number of industries, number of cities, number of business is worked as well as developed over here in this particular area. The reasons I have already spoken. Okay, now when we are talking about western part is narrower than the eastern part, the plain is almost a level land. None of its part is higher than 180 meters of above sea level. That means the height of this plains is quite less. The plain is very narrow near Delhi. The Satluj plain lies to the west of Delhi, while Ganga plain is in the east. This plain is considered to be the most prosperous region of India. Important cities such as Delhi, Kanpur, Lucknow, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Kolkata, etc. are situated in this plain. The same thing we are going to observe with the help of map. Okay, Sindhu River and its tributary Jhelum. What is the meaning of tributary? The rivers which are connecting to the main river. For example, as we have seen that one river is passing from here. Let us take an example that this is the Ganga. Okay. So when we are having number of rivers which are connecting, when they are coming down or they are getting connected to this river, we call it as the tributaries. I hope it is clear. We call these rivers as the tributaries which are getting connected. Clear? Okay. Now when we are talking about these tributaries, so which is the tributary river for the Ganga? The Satluj plains. The Satluj plain lies to the west of Delhi, while Ganga plain is in the eastern part. This plain is considered to be the most prosperous region of Delhi. Important cities such as Kanpur, Lucknow, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Kolkata, etc. I have repeated this particular point for your convenience. Okay. Now when we are talking about the tributaries, so Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. They all are the tributary rivers to the Sindhu. Okay, they are originating from the Himalaya. Generally, a region between two rivers is known as a doab. What is the meaning of doab? Do-ab. Okay. This word is a combination of two words, which is do and ab. That is do plus ab. Ab means water and do means two. That means when we are talking about this do-ab, that means we are talking about the combination of river. That means we are going to have two rivers which is moving together. That we call it as a do-ab. I hope it is clear to you. So according to that, thus the plain which is formed by 5 rivers, we call it as a Punjab. Again, as we have seen this particular word, when we are talking about the Punjab, again it is a combination of two words. Okay, Pan and Ja. Pan means 5 plus Ab, that means water. That means here we are having combination of 5 rivers. Here we have 2 rivers, whereas here we have 5 rivers. So this is Punjab and Doab, which we found in this particular areas. Due to most of the plain is in the Pakistan. Already we have seen, and we will see the same with the help of map, which is going to be there in front of your screen. Okay. On the basis of physiography, the plain is divided into 4 parts. They are Bhabar, Terai, Bangar and Khadar. Again, this particular portion, that means this particular plains have been divided into 4 different parts, and they are known as a Bhabar, Terai, Bangar and Khadar. Okay, a small and narrow belt of gravels stone lies parallel to river from Sindhu up to Tista river in Shivalik foothills. This belt is almost 8 to 16 km. This is known as a Bhabar. I am repeating, the belt, a thick belt which is located in the foothills of the Shivalik, that is the outer part of the Himalaya, and this particular portion is having the belt of gravel. The thickness is, or wideness is 8 to 16 km, and this particular portion we call it as the Bhabar. Okay. After that, the Terai region, which is more humid and marshy, comes next. Dense forest and diversified wildlife are seen. I hope you remember that in the previous video, in the previous chapter, we have seen the layers of the earth, right? With the help of diagram we have seen. So in the same manner, here too we are having the portion of the eastern part of this particular area. The old alluvium in the plains is known as a Bangar due to consistent deposition. Consistent deposition, that means continuous deposition of the sediments or the soil. It develops a terrace shape which is at a higher level than the flood plains. The new sediment on the flood is known as the Khadar. So I hope this particular portion is quite clear to you.